welcome to another week of Who Gives a Dram. We're here, ready to go, ready to do another whiskey review. The last week of Irish Whiskey Takeover 2022. It's been a good run. We've done some whiskeys, we've done some good ones, and we've done some bad ones. So hopefully we end on a good one today. Last episode of March, and it's a doozy. We're ready. It's Wednesday, March 30th, and I'm ready to rock and roll, man. I'm ready to rock and roll. Hope everybody had a good week. Hope everyone had a safe week. Hope everyone did a lot of whiskey drinking over the weekend. And yeah, man. Yeah, I'm a little tired today. I don't know why. You ever just like wake up tired? Like, we ever wake up from sleeping at night tired and it just never goes away? That's been me like this week. So yesterday and today. I think it's because I've been working at home for the majority of the week, which is not a bad thing, but also it takes a little bit of time getting used to. So my studio has also been my home office, which is fine. I mean, I don't mind that. But sometimes getting out of the house and getting to the office is a good thing. But I've been enjoying working from home, definitely. Especially since my diet has been on point. The past few days has been pretty shitty, but on point 90% of the time. My diet has been on point. I'm trying to get Shred City for the Kentucky Bourbon Ball. I'm gonna look like a Greek god statue in all proportions, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. I think this is episode 72. Maybe episode 73. Probably should have confirmed that. But before we get into the episode 72, Before we get into the episode, best way to support the show, just make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you're hitting subscribe on YouTube when I drop the YouTube videos and the clips on there. Make sure you're subscribing on all audio platforms, namely Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Make sure you're subscribing on there if you enjoy the show, if you enjoy my whiskey reviews, and you enjoy my content. That would mean the world to me. And make sure you leave a rating and review on iTunes as well. That really helps with the algorithm. I am wearing my Who Gives a Dram merch. I'm not going to stand up. It has my logo on the back. I'm not going to stand up, show you. But if you want to buy my Who Gives a Dram merch, you can go to the link in my bio. It's an awesome sweatshirt, super comfortable, nice and soft. It's actually perfect for springtime because it's just heavy enough where you can be warm in it, but it's also light enough where, like, honestly, I'll wear a sweatshirt with nothing underneath. I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. Like, right now I'm wearing this sweatshirt. I have no shirt on underneath it because I like the way this feels on my skin, and especially because I've been moisturizing I've been moisturizing like my life depends on it recently. I'm telling you, I'm getting golden brown for the summer. I'm gonna look like a roasted turkey, and I'm gonna be Jack City. I'm gonna look like there's loaves of bread as each one of my abs, and I'm gonna be golden brown like a roasted turkey. The only way to do that, to have clear skin, is to moisturize. So I like the way this sweatshirt feels on my moisturized skin. And it's super comfortable. So this is also it's also a sweatshirt you can wear just on its own and just have it on its own. So it's like the best of both worlds. I wear this in the winter, like underneath a coat, but I also wear it in the spring or in the summertime. It's just to have a light layer on. So you can go to the link in my bio. They're $35, probably a few dollars extra after shipping, but go to the link in my bio. You can buy this sweatshirt. Gonna definitely be releasing more merch soon as well. That's something I really want to pick up. So just trying to decide on a few designs, get the print team ready, and then we'll release some new merch. Do some drops over the summer probably. I want to get some shorts out there. I got to get new shorts, so it'll give me an excuse to buy new shorts, buy my own merch. The other place you can get my merch is The Grapevine Media. This podcast is also presented by The Grapevine Media, www.thegrapevinemedia.com. You can find all my merch there. You can find all my blog posts there. You can find all my podcasts there. And you can also sign up for our newsletter to receive any new blog posts or news that we drop or podcasts that we drop. So go over there, check that out, www.thegrapevinemedia.com. Yeah, man, so I've had a pretty busy week so far. I've had a pretty busy week. What have I done? Yesterday we recorded episode 3 of Popcorn Pillow Talk, which is my new movie podcast, and it was insane. It was I love recording that podcast because it's all about movies and cinema, and I really like talking about that stuff. So we had a blast doing that, man. We had such a blast doing that, like an hour and a half. Good content. I'm pretty sure it's going to be released tomorrow, which is today. So I'll put it in my story so you guys can listen to it or watch it on YouTube. But that was a fun one to record. Started talking about one of the Oscar movies that was nominated was called The Power of Dog or The Power of the Dog. It was starring Benedict Cumberbatch. The director actually won Best Director, so it was also nominated for Best Picture. But in the movie, and I watched about half of it, it's on Netflix. In the movie, you see Benedict Cumberbatch's dong. And I just made a comment on the podcast while we were recording, like, hey, he's got a piece on him, you know? And I'm just being honest. I'm just calling it like I see it. So that turned into a bit on the podcast. We started talking about actors with huge dongs. So that was funny. But yeah, Popcorn Pillow Talk, episode 3 releasing today. Go check it out. And go check out Bourbon with Friends as well. I got 3 podcasts. I'm churning out content on 3 different platforms, so go check that out. Bourbon with Friends and Popcorn Pillow Talk. So we have, well, first I'll say it's the last week of Irish whiskey, of the Irish Whiskey Takeover, the 2022 Irish Whiskey Takeover. So I wanted to do a Irish whiskey that I'd never had before. And I was going to go out and I was going to get a bottle of Redbreast. But I was going to borrow it from my cousin, and I didn't end up going to his house today to get it. And then I was just going to buy one, and the liquor store that's right down the road from me didn't have it in stock. So I had to make a game time decision. What Irish whiskey am I going to do this week? It's the last week of Irish Whiskey Takeover. It has to be something memorable. I want it to be something I've never had. So I decided to go with the Sexton single malt Irish whiskey. And you guys will know this bottle based on the bottle. It's got a cool bottle. Looks like just a big, this looks like a big bottle of perfume. Looks like a bulk perfume bottle. My boy Whiskey Sith, Daryl, has always talked up about the Sexton. So I figured I'd try it. It's a 4-year-old. It's aged for 4 years in, ex-sherry butts, ex-sherry casks. Single malt, 100% malted barley, Irish whiskey. It's the most popular single malt Irish whiskey in the United States. So figured I'd pick it up. $30 I paid for it, and give it a review and see how we like it for the last Irish whiskey out of the Irish Whiskey Takeover of 2022. Before we get into the review, I do have a few topics I want to talk about. Namely being, if you're watching this on YouTube, yes, my beard is gone. Now, this is a big deal, especially for those who don't know me or are just new to the show. And not only have I had a beard since I started this podcast, but I've had a beard since probably 2016 when I was 20 years old. I've had a beard for a very long time. And as you guys saw, weekly with my weekly YouTube videos, I was growing out my hair. And it was fun for the time that I did it. I did it for months. You guys can go back to my YouTube videos and watch the transformation of how long my hair got. There were a few weeks in a row where I had to wear a hat just because my hair was so long and I hadn't put any product in it. The problem with my hair is my hair is so thick that I have to put a lot of product in it to keep it back. And I just felt like that wasn't good for my head. But I like the look of it. But the times I did put product in versus the times I didn't, it just didn't equal out. And I was just becoming a hassle. I was wearing hats all the time. I usually don't like to wear hats that much, but I decided to let it go. Working out with it just sucks. I've been hitting the gym hard, super hard for the past month. So that was hard, like working out. I would have to work out with a hat on, and I hate working out with a hat on. So on a Saturday, I decided to just cut it. I was just going to go with my usual haircut, zero skin fade up, high fade up to just scissors on the top. Shout out to Vinny Scissors, my barber here in Westerly, Rhode Island. And I was sitting in the chair, and I was just thinking to myself, you know what? It is time for a change. I haven't seen my face for a while. So I told Vinny that I wanted to cut the beard off. And he did it like his usual way. He leaves like a few inches on because he knows I like the beard. And I said, no, go shorter than that. So he goes a little shorter. And I liked the look of it. But I then told Vinny that when I was driving to his shop, that my thought was like stubble. I'll go down to stubble. And he goes, oh, you want to go down to stubble? And he said, well, that's not stubble. And I said, oh, it's not. And he goes, no, this is stubble. And he brings out a razor. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. Let's do it. So it was kind of impromptu. I was debating it, but I'm already kind of used to the look. I'm sure you guys aren't, but I'm used to the look now. I also needed to give my skin a break. When you have a beard, if you take good care of your beard, your skin will be fine. But I had a beard for 5 years, 6 years almost, and I would cut it short sometimes, and I would moisturize it and wash it all the time. But at the end of the day, you got to give your skin a little bit of slack. Wanted to let the sun hit my face and not just my beard, so I don't regret it. I never regretted it, actually. I never regretted it. For 1 second, I didn't regret it. But this is the first time a lot of people have seen my face in several years. So it's a big moment in my life. It was a big moment in my life to cut my beard off. I was afraid I was going to be ugly. I think I'm a little ugly, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So that was the biggest thing that happened to me last week, was cutting my hair and cutting my beard. So that will tell you how exciting my life is. We did have a few things happen, and this is probably going to be a little bit of a shorter episode. There's not a whole lot to talk about this week. I really want to get into the review. I'm excited to try it. I've never had the Sexton before, so I'm excited to get into it. But we can't not talk about Will Smith slapping the shit out of Chris Rock at the Oscars. And I talked about this on Popcorn Pillow Talk. We went into a huge segment about it. So if you want to hear my in-depth review, or not my in-depth thoughts about this topic, you can go over to Popcorn Pillow Talk on iTunes or Spotify or YouTube and watch it on there. Make sure you subscribe if you like it. But really, and I've been thinking about this a lot as well. I at the end of the day, I could care less. Like it's honestly, it's hilarious to me, and obvious. Someone reached out to me and said it was fake. It 100% was not fake. I can guarantee you it wasn't fake. And what cemented that to me was Chris Rock just being lost for words after it happened. When Will Smith goes back down to his chair and says, "Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth," a few times. And Chris Rock is like, "All right, bro, chill. It's all good." So 100% was not a fake event. That's Will Smith and Chris Rock do not need the publicity of an event like this to become relevant. Like, there's no reason for them to fake it. Unless the Oscars paid them each a shit ton of money, because the Oscars ratings were very, very low. and they needed something major. But then they would have done it right at the beginning of the show or something like that. It was towards the end. Like, it just doesn't add up, the fact that it was a fake. It doesn't just, there's so many points that go against that point that it had to have been a real thing. And obviously Will Smith should not have done that. I think that comes without saying. Like, it was a bitch move by Will Smith for more reasons than one. But it was a bitch move from Will Smith, and that's just the end of it. Will Smith shouldn't have done that, obviously, on national TV. But he did. So now we can talk about it. There are two sides to the story here. Chris Rock saying a G.I. Jane joke. G.I. Jane didn't have hair. Will Smith's wife, or whatever the fuck she is, doesn't have hair because of some disease. Who gives a fuck, honestly? And Will Smith retaliated by going up and smacking the shit out of Chris Rock. Now, obviously Chris Rock or Will Smith should not have done that, but he did. It's completely gangster that Will Smith just went up on national TV and slapped the shit out of someone like Chris Rock. And I'm sure they're boys, honestly. I'm sure they're boys. It also tells me, it's like, bro, Will Smith has been famous for so long that he thinks that he can just get up and smack the shit out of random people. Not only just do that, but also on national television. Like, you're so out of touch with reality. And I'm a Will Smith guy. I like Will Smith a lot. I Am Legend is a great movie. And I can't wait to watch the reboot they're doing, or the sequel that they're filming with Will Smith and Michael B. Jordan. It's going to be great. But, like, bro, you don't do that. Especially because you're Will Smith. You're the genie from Aladdin. You were in Shark Tale. Like, you don't do that when you're Will Smith. And I think that Will Smith has just been famous for so long that he just doesn't realize that there's repercussions. And his apology was so, I wish he didn't apologize. Like, or at least he just said, hey, yeah, I did that. Probably shouldn't have done it on TV. My bad. Sorry. But his apology was being like, I'm always being a better person, and this isn't the type of man. Like, yeah, it is the type of man you are, because you did it. So that's the type of man you are. Yeah, you made a mistake, but it's the type of man you are. That apology pissed me off royally. And the fact that, like, are they married? Didn't she cheat on him and, like, tell him to his face that she did it, and now he's a cuck, is essentially what it is. Will Smith has all the money in the world. He's an attractive guy. He's a cuck to this. I think that they just have a completely unhealthy relationship. And Will Smith is just in love with her and is willing to do whatever it takes to stay with her. I mean, she just seems like a bad person. So I feel bad for Will Smith a little bit. I feel like he's been just, like, driven crazy by this girl. Like, that went viral. There was that meme of him being upset, like, taking, like, Jada Smith's basically saying, oh, I cheated on you. I was banging some other dudes while we were separated or whatever. And Will Smith's just taking it. Like, if you don't think Will Smith could bang anyone in the world, then you're wrong. So I'm not sure, like, so I feel bad for Will Smith in that fact of, like, he should have never been put into that position, because he should have broke it off with her a while ago. And I don't know much about the story. I could care less. But on the reverse end, Chris Rock took that smack like a champion. He took that smack like the guy who fought Sean O'Malley a few months ago with the green hair and just kept on coming forward. He just took it like nothing happened. It was impressive how well Chris Rock took that, and how he just kind of, it took him a little bit to reevaluate, like to get his grips about him, to get his feet back underneath him, but he did, and it was impressive. It was honestly one of the most impressive live TV moments I've ever seen. And I didn't watch it live, but like watching it back. And he'll always be remembered for that. They're both always going to be remembered for this, which is hilarious to me. So I give kudos to both. Will Smith is a straight gangster for going up on national television and slapping the shit out of Chris Rock. Chris Rock is a straight gangster because he took that slap like a champion, moved on like nothing happened, and also I heard that he hasn't made an apology and he doesn't plan on making an apology because he's a comedian and comedians make jokes about that. So at the end of the day, Will Smith shouldn't have done it, but he did, and it was gangster that he did it. But you also, I mean, you can't get mad at Chris Rock for telling a joke when he's a comedian, and your wife literally banged other dudes and told you to your face, so you're a cuck. So I like Will Smith, but it was such a cuck move. It was like, and for those listening, if you don't know what a cuck is a guy who willingly lets his wife bang other dudes and he watches. So that's what a cuck is. That's what Will Smith's face should be next to that definition in the dictionary. He's the complete definition of a cuck. And if you're gonna go hit someone, if you're gonna go defend your wife's honor when she was boinking other dudes, you're a cuck. So Will Smith is a proven cuck, but he still makes awesome movies. Chris Rock's a stud. I thought it was hilarious, and definitely wasn't fake, but super funny. So yeah, I wanted to touch on that. There was a UFC fight this weekend. Curtis Blaydes versus Chris Daukaus. Curtis Blaydes won by second round knockout. There's really there's really no substance in the fights this weekend. Kai Kara France won, which was huge. He won by unanimous decision. So he might be next in line for a flyweight title. Matt Brown lost by split decision to Brian Barberena. That was a welterweight bout. The co-main event was Yohan Wood versus Alexa Grasso. So that tells you how good this card was. Nothing really to talk about. Curtis Blaydes won. He's going to continue to be at the top of the heavyweight division. He honestly might fight Tai Tuivasa next. Wouldn't be surprised if they put Tai Tuivasa or who the hell's the guy that won last week? They could put I gotta figure out the guy's name. Tim, UFC heavy. Not Tim Sylvia. Is it Tom? UFC London 2022. Tom Aspinall. That's what it was. Not Tim. Tom Aspinall. They should put Curtis Blaydes or Tom Aspinall. I mean, they should put Tai Tuivasa or Tom Aspinall against Curtis Blaydes. That'd be a great fight. I'm a strong believer. Please, I really hope the UFC doesn't have Tom Aspinall and Tai Tuivasa fight each other. Let them make their rise concurrently, parallel to each other. So it can be a huge fight if they keep winning. That's my prediction. Also, Nate Diaz asked for his release from the UFC. He tweeted, quote, "I would like to request to be released from the @UFC, @Dana White, @Hunter. I apologize for asking online, but you don't give me a fight ASAP. I got shit to do. Motherfuckers be crying because they get dropped from the UFC. I can't pay out this bitch." So I don't know what that is. The Nate Diaz hype train is really running low on me. it's very obvious that he's the reason he's not fighting. And I don't know if it's because of money or he wants to wait for Conor to come back, but he should be fighting Dustin Poirier. It should be a no-brainer. That fight was already scheduled a few years ago, never happened. So the fact that they haven't made that fight yet is bonkers to me. Nate Diaz has no shot of winning that fight, but it would be a super fun fight that would do really good numbers. So for whatever reason, Nate Diaz is not taking fights or he's not fighting. So he's trying to spin it seems like, that it's because of the UFC. But in reality, we all know that if Nate Diaz really wanted to fight, he could fight. And I'm sure he does want to fight, but he has these stipulations now of where or when or what weight or how much money he's getting paid. Who knows? But Nate Diaz versus Dustin Poirier could realistically headline a pay-per-view. They probably wouldn't. It'd probably be a co-main, but it could headline a pay-per-view, and a lot of people would buy it. Probably do close to 1 million pay-per-view buys. Two guys that have beaten Conor McGregor. Everybody who's popular in the UFC just rides off of Conor McGregor's coattails. That's how big of a star he is. But I don't know if he's going to actually be released. I can't imagine that he will be. I'm sure that the UFC will want to keep him around because he's a moneymaker for them, and he's a solidified star, so they're not going to want to get rid of this guy. So that's really it for like current events, I guess. Shaved my beard. Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. Nate Diaz asked for release from UFC. Let's get into the whiskey review. Like I said, this week, the Sexton single malt Irish whiskey, the number one selling single malt Irish whiskey in America. Iconic bottle. I'm literally opening this bottle on the air. It's a cork. It's going to be a... oh, shit. It's wet underneath. Was it leaking? It's not leaking. You see that on YouTube? But it's wet. I can smell it. It smells tasty. Let's uncork this right now. Yeah, the cork is soaked. Something spit out of this, but whatever. It was sealed. Oh, gross. I hate bottles that can't pour well, bro. Just got everywhere. The suction is weird. Something's wrong with this bottle. I should go bring it back after I review it. Tell them something's wrong. But that's what we're reviewing today. The Sexton Single Malt Irish Whiskey. Wipe that up. The number one selling single malt Irish whiskey in the United States. I already said that. Sick bottle, as you can see here. Sweet bottle. It's got a cool skeleton wearing a top hat right there. Looks like something you'd see at like a tattoo parlor. Looks like a bottle you'd see like sit in like what they put the. This looks like a bottle that a barber would put their utensils in when they're cleaning them with the blue liquid. It kind of looks like that. It also looks like a big perfume bottle, but it's cool, iconic bottle. I think all whiskey people know the Sexton Irish whiskey bottle, so that's good for them for marketing purposes. Now we got to see if the juice is good. But let's read what it says on the bottle. 40% alcohol by volume, distilled in copper pots, 80 proof, 750 mils. Show up before dawn and you'll catch on the cool mountain breeze the unmistakable oak from breathing casks once filled with Spanish sherry, now brimming with aqua vitae. Steal a drop. Savor the notes of rich dried fruit and complexity driven by years in a deep oak-encased slumber. You see, to be the Sexton is a spiritual trade, and whiskey is his favorite spirit. That's pretty fucking cool. That's a pretty cool description. Wow. Triple distilled, product of Ireland. It says batch number, L9070IF001. So whatever that means. That's what batch this is. Oh, there's more. There's more words. Let's read the other words. Up in the cold, gray northern reaches of County Antrim, alongside St. Colum's Rill, the Sexton selects the best strains of barley for malting, patiently distilled in copper pot stills to create a precious elixir. The Sexton whiskey is a smooth and flavorful single malt of intriguing complexity. Elixir. If someone uses the word elixir, you know they've read The Lord of the Rings at least once. The bottle's all wet and it's pissing me off. But anyway, that's what we got here. It's a like I just said, it's 40% ABV, 80 proof. I bought this for $30. From what I can see, MSRP is right around $30 to $35. It's 100% malted barley, aged for 4 years in ex-sherry casks. Bottled by Proximo Spirits. They do a bunch of Irish whiskey, and I'm excited to get into it. So, again, this is my first time ever even smelling or sipping the Sexton single malt Irish whiskey, so I'm excited. A little bit of a darker color to it. I like it. A lot of Irish whiskey don't have that darker color to it, but this does, and I enjoy that. Ooh, very, very malty on the nose. It actually has a much, much brighter nose than I thought it was going to have for a 40 proof. The sherry comes out very vividly. Lots of green apple, and it feels weird on my nose now that I don't have a beard. I can feel it on my upper lip. It's not just like it's rubbing against hair, it's rubbing against my mouth. Green apple, nice oak. That sherry is really jumping out. Lots of bright barley and a little bit of a darker butterscotch note. I get kind of like a marshmallow as well. I get those not flavored marshmallows, but like cotton candy. Maybe is a better way to put it. I think I get more cotton candy on this. Very sweet, very bright. I actually quite enjoy the nose a lot. It's a very, very nice nose, very inviting. The barley is there in plethora. I mean, the barley is there very much so. It smells good. I mean, you could tell it's an Irish. It does smell different than other Irish whiskeys, and I don't know if that's because it's single malt. It's not blended with anything. It's a little bit similar to Writer's Tears. Writer's Tears had that strong green apple, but this is more complex than Writer's Tears. It has like that sweet cotton candy, a little bit of fruit to there. It's really got namely that sherry cask is very, very prevalent. The oak is there, a bit of a butterscotch or a darker aspect, maybe like a darker dried fruit. For some reason, I just got like watermelon almost. I get a lot of different fruits on this. Cotton candy, sugary watermelon, like a watermelon Sour Patch Kid. Green apple. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. There's definitely a lot going on here. It smells good, though. It's very, very inviting. It's very, very light but complex. And by light, I mean like it's not like very pungent. You can stick your sniffer in there and take a big inhale and it won't burn your eyes off. Smells good. Smells good. I get a little bit of that like copper note that I got with Writer's Tears as well. A little bit of chocolate. There's a lot going on. It's a very good nose. Very good nose. If I had to give like 3 main players, I'd say malted barley, cotton candy / like sweet candy, green apple, and then also a little bit of, and then fruit would be the 4th one. Just a generalized like fruity note to it. So let's drink it. 70-second review. well, 72nd episode, 72nd named episode, or a numbered episode here on Who Gives a Dram. Let's see how the Sexton single malt Irish whiskey stacks up with the other Irish whiskeys we done this month. So, Shlanta to Irish Whiskey Takeover 2022. It was a good run. The palate went way downhill. Hopefully it was just because of the first sip, but God, how can a nose be so good and a palate be so bad? It must have been just the first sip. The finish is sticking a little bit, though. It's hanging out for a bit longer than the other Irish whiskeys were. Let's give it another sip. I got to give it another try. I do not like this palate at all. How can it change so much? Can someone answer that for me? How can a palate change so much from the nose to the palate? I mean, this is very like metallic. Almost bitter. Like I feel like I've been getting that a lot. Bitterness. A little bit of citrus. Oak a little bit. But mostly like a metallic, like a copper note. Like really like you're sucking on a penny. Darker fruits are in there for sure. Darker fruits are in there. Lots of malted barley, yeah. I am not a fan of the palate. Sorry to say, I am not a fan of that palate at all. It's just too metallic. It's too dark. It's like, you know what it is? It's like the nose is Anakin Skywalker. Like Attack of the Clones, maybe even Phantom Menace, arguably like first half of Revenge of the Sith. And the palate is Darth Vader. Except Darth Vader is actually Jar Jar Binks. Like, it's not good. The difference between, you know what it is? The nose is Zack Snyder's Justice League, whereas the palate is the theatrical release of Justice League. It's that different to me. The nose is so sweet and inviting and light and crisp, almost like apple juice type of like sweet cotton candy niceness, and then you take a sip. And you're just overrun with like bitter, metallic, darker fruit. Sherry, I guess, could be that. Like, man, that's disappointing. It's going to be a weird score because the nose is like, the nose would be in like the mid 8s, but the palate is just bringing this sucker down a lot. Now, overall, again, reminder that these scores are just my opinion. It's not like you might like this. For $30, I would definitely recommend picking up a bottle just to try it. I mean, usually I don't buy whiskey unless I've had it before or I just know it's good. I would have preferred to have gotten like a shooter or a nip of this instead, just because I don't know if I'll drink this. But it was only $30. I mean, I'm giving this like, man, not a good score. I'm gonna give this a 6.4 total. Now, again, will I finish my glass? Of course I'll finish my glass, but this is not up my alley. I'm not an Irish whiskey hater. I know I've given 2 kind of lower scores in the past few days here. 6.4 is still good, though. Like, 6.4 is like, for $30, yeah, pick it up. Like maybe go for other Irish whiskeys first, but if you really want something different and you like the bottle and maybe you want to use the bottle for something else, then yeah, for $30 it's worth it. But just I can't see this being something I drink very often. It's just too metallic for me. I feel like this would give me a headache if I drank a lot of it. It feels like it feels like if you were to suck on a penny. Like it feels like if you were to suck on a penny after having a thing of raisins. After having a box of raisins, sucking on a penny, then having a box of having a box of raisins and then sucking on a penny is what the Sexton is. And I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm not gonna lie, but that's the beauty of whiskey. Everyone has their opinions. I know plenty of people who like the Sexton. So 6.4 is gonna be my score. You can stamp that, and with that, I am going to get going for this week. So thank you everybody for tuning in to another week. I appreciate it very much. Everyone who tunes in and listens to the podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. I am starting to do my best with clipping my episodes, and I'm just going to put out shorts of my actual review and any funny segments that I have on the show. So make sure you subscribe there, and then you can also watch the long format podcast as well. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Overbreak, or Breaker, Stitcher, Overcast. I'm available on every single podcast platform. And make sure you check out the Grapevine Media for all my other podcasts. Namely Popcorn Pillow Talk for movies and TV, Bourbon with Friends is my other bourbon podcast. Got a lot of content coming out, so make sure you're following along. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Who Gives a Dram, also Bourbon with Friends as well. And, keep on leaving likes and comments. Reach out to me. Let me see what you guys are drinking. Let me know what you think about the Sexton. If you guys like it, if you don't like it, shoot me a DM. Shoot me a message, and we can have a conversation about it. So, once again, thank you, everybody. And until next week, we'll see you then.